Here we go. Hey, hey. Hello, Laura.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
I just took my hair out of my beanie cap. Look.
I was going to say, I like it messy like that.
It's kind of cute, yeah.
It is.
How are you guys?
Good. Just coming back from the Bay Area, so feeling a little tired and kind of adjusting, but happy to see our pups and to be down in the Bay Area for a little bit. But it was like action-packed for the holidays, you know, and lots of traffic, and it's kind of insane out there.
Right.
You know.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Were you there by yourself?
I was down there for about 5 days total, and then Scott came down and we had an event, a solstice event last night. So
How nice.
yeah, it was nice.
Hello, Kate. Welcome to Kate.
Kate and Daniel.
Oh my gosh, Kate and Daniel. It's a double header.
Costa Rica.
In Costa Rica.
My
Wow.
house in Costa Rica. We didn't know this.
Oh my God.
God, I would
This
love
is awesome.
Are you guys like in a tent or where are you?
No, we're in my house in the jungle in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica, on the Caribbean.
Wow.
With the mosquito net.
Wonderful. Well,
Yeah,
it's good to have
we
you
had
with
no
us.
idea what this was, but we're delighted to be here.
Wow.
Welcome.
Everybody.
Well, this is it's going to be a Love Coach Academy practice group. And we kind of thought we'd at least start with focusing on the holidays. And, you know, the holidays could be a wonderful time, but it can also be very challenging. It can be a time, you know, Ram Dass has a wonderful quote. He says, if you think you're semi-enlightened, go spend a week with your family. See how you do. So sometimes the holidays brings up having to go back and deal with family. Other times it's the opposite. Maybe you're estranged from your family, or your family's split up all over the place, or you don't have family, or you're feeling lonely. It can be a really, really lonely time for some people.
A lot of people have been transitioning out of relationships and intimacy they've longed for or had prior from a relationship. So that's a big transitional, you know, shift and change. So yeah.
But, you know, what we always have to do is the people that show up on time, like all of you, thank you, would love to hear, you know, briefly what's alive for Matthew and Laura and David and Kate and Daniel. What's going on in your life that you would like maybe some empathy or understanding for? Or is there anything relationship-oriented that's kind of challenging you'd like to get a little love coach support for tonight?
I'm going to bring a pen out.
Oh, yeah. And here, you can use, here, I'll give you some scratch paper. So,
Let's keep it to like, what, 90 seconds?
yeah, Laura, would you be willing to start us off before you take another bite? Because you're always so...
I feel ashamed of myself because I yelled at David tonight.
Oh.
I feel terrible about it. And we get into this cycle where I'm afraid, and I think I trigger his fear, and then we do this thing like, why are you so upset kind of thing together, and then it makes it worse, and there's no empathy on board. And honestly, the only reason why I think we're here is because we're so desperate to learn these tools where we can apply them when we're deeply triggered like that. Because intellectually, I think we both understand them pretty well, right? But it's implementing them in the moment. But one of the things that's been really helpful, you guys, that I just want to call out, that's been helping me lately to really kind of start hoping that I'll be able to get a grip in the moment is just asking myself all day long, what do I need? What do I need?
Beautiful.
What do I need? And I feel like, it's like my therapist says, you can't just circle the drain. You just can't jump out of the drain. You got to circle it upwards. It's going to take practice. And so I feel like if I can just keep saying, what do I need? That eventually when I'm in a thing with David, a fearful moment, I'll be able to parent myself in that moment and not react, because it's just all about fear. It's not, but I'm not there yet. So I feel really sad and ashamed.
Well, first of all, thank you for your vulnerability and being the first one to kind of share. And I just want to briefly welcome Elisa and her beautiful husband from New Mexico. Good to see you. Or Texas, from Texas, I apologize. And Greg Standrow from San Diego. And Shakti is with us. So I just like to greet people as they come in. And of course, Matthew and Kate and Daniel. Do you want to address what Laura brought up a little bit?
Yeah, I really want to say thank you so much for just the piece of really checking in with yourself, because so much of these tools are really about self-sourcing. So really, learning to be with our feelings and taking good care of ourselves and checking in with our needs and taking, what are the ways that I can get myself centered and grounded, and so that I can come to the relationship, if I am in a vulnerable place, responsible for my vulnerability. So it's not escalating and projecting and then kind of, doing the thing that where we're coming out sideways. And I just want to say it's such a practice. I mean, I've been practicing this stuff forever, and still Scott and I go into places. I mean, I think we had like 6 or 7 triggers just yesterday. And I do want to celebrate, even though we had 6 or 7 triggers, we were holding each other the whole time. And cuddling. So we were really talking about some really hard stuff and financial stuff and stuff around sex and really tough stuff. And it was really powerful triggers, and there was some escalation, but because we're just well practiced, it does get easier.
I hope.
Yeah.
It does. I just want to remind you and everybody that we all have this little mechanism in the back part of our brain. And when we perceive that we're being attacked or we're under stress, the reptile brain takes over, and the next thing you know, you're abducted. It's literally like being abducted by that reptile brain, and you're no longer seeing your beloved who you love and adore, but you're defending yourself, and sometimes we defend ourselves by fighting or, throwing out that yelling. Sometimes we defend ourselves by just zoning out or, all of a sudden I'm too busy, I've got to go to work, or we go to the freeze reaction. Please don't see me. I'm not here.
I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know.
I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know why I'm in. Please go away. Don't hurt me. So, it's like it happens to all of us. It's biological.
Yeah. I mean, I even right now have a huge issue up with someone where I'm not ready. I'm way too jackal to even come into contact with them right now. It's a big upset. And I'm usually pretty self-responsible and self-reflective and know how to collect my thoughts and communicate. And I told Scott, it's like, I'm so in the I'm jackal, and then I'm in the frozen spot.
Jackal, by the way, is a mascot from nonviolent communication that represents when we're in reptile brain, when we're judgmental,
pissed off, can't see the larger perspective, just hurt, basically really hurt. And Scott said, I don't usually see you like this. And also because it's triggering all my father wounding. So, which puts me into that place where I'm even more in that little girl of like, I don't know what to do. I go into confused little girl. And so again, it's just like this stuff it's so normal, and it comes up. And I mean, we've been practicing, and it's still really like humbling. I mean, honestly, we were just talking to a high-level relationship coach today, and he's going through stuff, and we're like, dude, this stuff is like the most humbling stuff ever.
He just broke up with his girlfriend of 1.5 years, and he's a professional relationship coach who makes his living doing it. And I'm his coach, and we coached them, and they didn't make it. So it's hard. By the way, I see that's our dog going nuts in the back couch. So he's. The good news is he's 15.5 years old, and he still has the energy of a puppy.
Aww. I just wanted to say, I'm not sure if I think David wants to have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say, babe.
You want to read it? Go for it, David.
Spotlight.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So, it's, we love each other dearly. And I know that when there's an upset, when there's a trigger, when there's a miscommunication, and I can sense her getting upset, man, I just, it's like all these feelings, like the floodgates open up. And I start telling myself stories. Oh, here comes that. Here comes this. Oh, man, watch out, duck, move, bob, weave, whatever, And I just start telling myself all these stories. And so when apparently I start, trying to be the moss on the rock and just be, I go into what I call my non-defensive, my mellow, because I don't want to be aggressive or anything like that. And apparently I look like a human Valium when I do it. And it triggers her, it triggers her because apparently it comes across as that I'm either mocking her or I'm, just whatever. It's not, it doesn't go over well. And so,
I'm guessing that it may be that she in that moment doesn't feel like you care, because when someone, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm guessing it might be for some of you, all of you, because we always want to make this relevant to everyone. Often when someone's very passionate, and obviously Laura is a very passionate woman. So a passionate person, when they're agitated or in energy, and somebody goes into, okay, I'm going to mellow down, I'm going to be cool, it's interpreted as you don't care, you're not taking this seriously, because you're not matching my level of passion.
right.
So I'm wondering, Laura, if that is part of what sometimes when you're in it, what maybe how you interpret it when he's kind of trying to be mellow.
I really appreciate when he's trying to be mellow, because I have experienced the other side of both of us. But I think where I get really deeply triggered is when he says, why are you getting so upset? That kind of thing. It's more the words of, why are you raising your voice? And, and I wasn't even, I was emphatic in that moment. And I said one swear word, but I wasn't calling him a name or anything. I just said the F word, like this freaking thing, whatever. And, but then it becomes about that. And then it becomes about the raised voice. And then the first issue is completely even gone. Like it's not even, and it's just about, it's just about that other lizard brain, that he's talking about. And so that's really frustrating.
Yeah. What's interesting is that's an example of being curious, but we can hear the curiosity as judgment.
Right.
So that's where you, instead, if I can, David, permission?
Please.
You can just go, wow, I'm feeling really uncomfortable from your tone of voice right now. I'm scared. I really want to hear you, but I'm feeling uncomfortable. Would you be willing to bring your tone down or the energy down? So you bring it back to you rather than, why are you? Because that would be kind of, yeah.
Yeah, she felt, judgment, like I'm saying, well, what are you getting all crazy for? And of course,
exactly.
What I'm thinking, I'm not going to lie, but I wouldn't say that. I was just like, it really doesn't need to go there. You
guys, he calls me Psycholina.
I love you guys.
By the way, I want to acknowledge Sharon Hinckley does something really wonderful, and I just want to take a moment. For those of you who are new to Zoom, there's first off, in your right-hand corner, click Gallery View. That way everybody can see everybody. So if you take your cursor up to the right-hand corner, click Gallery View, and now it's the Hollywood Squares, or it's the Brady Bunch, all these little boxes with us. The other thing is there's a chat box down below. It's towards this bottom, just to the right of center. And Sharon Hinckley does this wonderful thing of when key teaching points come out, she writes them down sometimes. So those are kind of the cliff notes of key teaching points. So Sharon, thank you very much. Just want to acknowledge her for that. And also I've muted all of you just so we don't hear background noise. But like in a moment when we're done with David and Laura, we'll say who wants to bring something up next, and then I'll unmute you. So just wanted to go over a few little ground rules.
Yeah. So anyway, so we, it was an upset, and there's a lot of stress. We're under a lot of stress right now. And, we've used the yellow light, red light, traffic signal, you know, sirens, I gotta go. But the thing is we know we love each other. And so she had a not so connected departure, and that was okay. You know, I just, it gave us both time to reflect.
But I did say that I was leaving, and I at least acknowledged that was like as close as containment as I could get. And hopefully next time I'll do better. Like,
right. Yeah.
You know,
and so, you know, but the nice thing is that it gave me a chance to make dinner and just sit there and be with myself and really reflect over, wow, you know, I can see where I did this and I said this and I could have reacted this way. But the challenge for me is that when she gets keyed up and I can, what I started to say was when I can feel her energy level rising, it's almost like I go into system shutdown, like the deer in the headlights, right? And I just go, whoa, you know, and that doesn't work either, by the way. And so I just, you know, I'm trying to communicate love and empathy, but you know, I have a difficult time with that. So I just kind of go into this low key, lower my voice, and just ask her, you know what, I'm right here. Just talk to me. I'm right here. You know.
So I want to make sure that you really take in, and that's beautiful what you shared, but I want to go back and make sure you took in, David, what Emily was suggesting, because I didn't really hear you take that in, which is lead with either vulnerability or reassurance that you care. And that's like for everybody. When the other person's upset and you're going, oh shit, here we go, I don't want to do this. Right? Okay, we all been there.
Yeah.
So you may need to give yourself an emergency dose of self-empathy, which is like, oh shit, I don't want to have to go through this. And this is my beloved and I love her, or this is my roommate and I need to deal with him, or whatever it is. So you kind of acknowledge that. And then the first thing out of the mouth, ideally, is some form of reassurance that you care. Yeah. So it can be, honey, I really do, I want to know what's going on with you, but I also want to acknowledge that I'm a little scared right now. I'm feeling a little nervous. You know, when I heard you come in with the F-bomb, shook me up. So can we just kind of, I want to know what's going on, but can we just kind of get centered if possible? Let's try and get centered first.
Yeah, and I would totally respond to that. I mean, I'm not like blaming David, but I know just from hearing you say that, Scott, like, I'm like, oh, you know, okay, yeah, just that in that moment, I felt cared about, like, right, when you said that, yeah.
You know, I want to just really anchor in, because I usually just lean with vulnerability. Wow, I'm really uncomfortable and scared right now. But if someone's triggered, they can then go, you're making it about you, or it's like now on you. And if that person really is like kind of desperate for some need, whether it be empathy or care, then they feel like it's now on you, and it can actually escalate defensiveness. Now, ideally it doesn't, right? Because vulnerability, if we're really in our hearts, it can disarm things. But I really like what Scott says, so I want to anchor it in, is first giving reassurance. Like, wow, I see that you really want to be heard. I'm imagining you really want to be heard right now. And what you have to share or what you're bringing up really matters. And it's important to me too. And would you be willing to, you can make a request. Would you be willing to just lessen the intensity a little bit so that I can hear you? You know, so there's also too, there's that weaving, like reassurance, vulnerability, and then what's the request that you might need to make for your needs to also be met. So that, definitely write that down, Sharon.
Yeah, because we always want to weave. We want to weave our care or our curiosity about what's alive for the other with what we need in the moment. So I really want to hear what you have to say, and it'll be easier to hear you if you stop punching me in the face.
Yeah.
I can concentrate more on what you're trying to say if I'm not, you know, worrying about my nose getting broken.
Right.
So
that might still escalate in that case.
I want to thank David and Laura. I want to thank you, and we'll definitely get back to you guys. But I want to give fewer people. Who else would love to? Anybody want to share like anything that you noticed in this conversation that you can relate to, or something else you'd like to? Okay, Kate, and it's Kate and Daniel, right?
Daniel.
Great.
Yeah, I'm Daniel, and I can totally relate with David here. I'm California. She's New York.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Our energy styles are just totally different. She gets very emphatic, and I'm just totally laid back. And I don't know. Much as I love her, it's just very hard to take sometimes, the intensity of it, and it just.
I imagine that there may be occasional times where you'll say, please stop yelling, and she'll say, I'm not yelling. I would imagine there might be.
Yeah, because it's loud, it's very intense and right in your face, and it's just like, man, I ask her sometimes, can you just kind of dial it back, just turn it back a few thousand RPMs, I can hear you, but she's like, this is just me, and if you can't hear me, you need to get over it.
And when he does that, I feel like he doesn't care about me.
Of course.
He doesn't want to hear what I have to say. Like he just wants to shut me up and suppress me. And it makes the powerful goddess part of me just feel like, I don't need this. This is not an empowering situation for me to be with somebody who doesn't get who I am and does not want to receive my feelings.
Right.
Of course, my childhood stuff was, being raised like many of us in a household where all feeling was suppressed and where it was mostly anger and passive aggressiveness going on, not genuine expression of authentic emotion or sadness or feeling or joy or happiness even. It was just a lot of suppression. So now here I am at age 64 and I'm like, I'm in a relationship with the man I love and adore. I'm in my homes. I want to be able to express myself. If I can't do it now, when can I do it? And a lot of times it's just really hard for him to receive it. So I think what you said to David about saying, I care about you. I want to hear what you have to say, but I'm feeling really scared and vulnerable by the way you're saying it. I mean, I would relate to that. I think that would change my approach, just hearing that you actually care about what I have to say and you want to hear it. A lot of times I just feel like this, don't talk to me, don't. And then that just makes me feel outraged,
Yeah.
Is it Daniel?
Yeah.
So Daniel, I just want to say that again, there's nothing that you've done wrong here. This is her experience. So I can imagine just sitting there, hearing that from your beloved. I don't know if I'm guessing that I would maybe be a little triggered. So I might be projecting onto you, but just want us to know that when people share their experience, it's their own world and reality. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong or that you're bad.
And that's actually the first step, is to leave the world of right and wrong. Your situations, it's classic.
Yeah.
And so she's never wrong if her volume is at a certain level or she's expressing herself authentically. And you're not wrong for wanting her to turn down the volume or having whatever reaction you naturally have. What we do need to do is recognize, okay, there's an adjustment, and can we find a way to communicate about our differences without the other one feeling made wrong. See, that's the key, is how can we communicate about this difference between comfort level of volume, comfort level, or, of course, she has a need to express herself and you have a need for maybe peace and harmony. So they're beautiful universal needs that, both of you can understand. But you got to take any right, wrong element out of it and learn how to communicate and just drop into each other's world. So let's try that. I'm going to ask Kate just to acknowledge your understanding of what might go on for Daniel. And then I'm going to ask Daniel to acknowledge his understanding of how you just want to be heard.
Okay.
And look at each other.
Look at each other when you say it.
Yeah.
So, darling.
Yes.
What I get is when I get emphatic or my tone gets out of your comfort zone, it makes you just want to shut down, or you feel attacked, or you feel belittled by my tone, or my volume, and then you just want to defend yourself and not hear me, and you don't feel safe even entering in the conversation with me, which is not what I don't want you to feel like that. I want to feel like when we communicate that we're really connecting authentically and being able to discuss as partners any issues so that we can have a profound, breakthrough.
Okay, Kate. Yeah. So I should have mentioned this before.
Yeah.
First of all, everything you said is wonderful, and it's a lot. So when we're in a dynamic conversation, it's always good to keep it to one thought, 60 seconds or less, and then check in.
Okay.
Did I get that right? Am I understanding you? How's that land for you?
Okay.
Does that feel like it lands for you? Is it true for you? Do you? Because some of those words that you used might not be his reality. So you just want to check in.
I want to check in, and I want to thank you because I asked you to go first. We didn't give any compassionate communication basics. So again, it's a practice group. So
I know, and I tend to over communicate.
Yeah. Marshall Rosenberg, who was one of our great mentors, said, one thought at a time, 60 seconds or less, and then check in, get a response.
Okay. That also might be one of the things of what happens for Daniel is that he loves you so much and he wants to be there, but he might not be able to track everything that you're saying. And so he's kind of like, he might be going into an overwhelm response.
Yes.
And so even though what you have to say is beautiful and it just becomes so much that then he's not with you.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
It's a lot to process.
We're keeping Sharon very busy with all of her chat notes, by the way. Thank you so much, Sharon. So, Daniel, of what she said, let's just start with appreciation. Which part or parts were resonant? Which parts were like, yeah, you get me?
Well, I get the fact that, yes, with her emphatic delivery that I get most often, that she's just trying to get her point across to me, but I think I just perceive it or take it in the wrong way. I hear it differently. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Because, I mean, she's used to being like a powerful woman, a producer, director, and it's almost as if she's giving me direction, which I don't oftentimes feel that I need.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you.
I sort of take offense to that.
Yeah, it's a big, huge thing in coupleship, and it's that's why it's great to actually ask permission. So I have something, like, for example, I saw something that you did yesterday, and I have a suggestion of how you could do it differently. Would you be willing to hear that?
Okay.
Right? It's like when we have something to offer, we want to make sure that we ask permission because our beloved might not be ready to receive the gift that we have to offer. And I'm guessing since you're a powerful woman and you're intelligent, your synapses fire quick. I mean, I'm just learning you.
I say that all the time.
You have a lot.
Her synapses are just
and I'm
constantly
like,
going.
I'm sorry. It's so hard to be around brilliant people.
And she should be a leader.
Yeah.
So,
and I was just going to appreciate you. So that's just, is mainly the main thing is I appreciate your wisdom. And often because when we have synapses that fire quick and we see things, we often want to contribute to other people's well-being by offering, ideas or suggestions or advice. And our beloved might hear it as kind of criticism or judgment. And so we just want to make sure that we check in first to see if they're available for that or if it's even something that they're open to.
And another piece is that obviously I've worked with a lot of couples where one person's synapses fire faster than the other. And
I think there's another couple on this call that might have that issue. Would you raise your hand?
And here's the thing. What I've really learned, I've been doing this for 15 years, so I'm just going to be honest. It works best if the person whose synapses fire really quickly learns to slow down because it's easier for you to slow down and really make sure you're in connection with your beloved than it is for the person whose synapses don't fire that fast to speed up and try and stay connected to you. Because what happens is when we're going faster than what's our nature, we go into reptile brain. When we're having to go fast like that, we lose our center and we go into reaction. So in general, we always want to slow things down anyway. And if one person operates at a slower pace, doesn't mean that they're less intelligent. It just means that they take things in and it takes more time for them to formulate their thoughts, their words, which is actually a good thing. You know, I just want to, for any of you on the call or who are here right now that you go slower maybe, I want to talk about the genius of Mr. Rogers. Who remembers Mr. Rogers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I love Mr. Rogers.
Well, here's something really interesting. Long-term study comes out. Turns out that the kids who grew up on Sesame Street have a radically higher level of attention deficit disorder than the kids who grew up on Mr. Rogers. Because the kids who grew up on Mr. Rogers learned how to spend 10 minutes with a potato. Right. And 5 minutes buttoning up a sweater.
As much as we love the count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, it's just like
it created ADD and
the flashing. Remember the flashing?
She's talking about Sesame Street. Sesame Street. Yeah. So it actually is a lot of wisdom and goodness. I'm somebody, my synapses fire very fast, to be with someone who can slow us down. Because if we slow down, especially if it's your romantic partner, because as you slow down, you have a chance, Kate or Laura or Emily, to go from your driven masculine side, which is highly effective in the world, into your soft, divine, receptive feminine, which is who we're in love with. You know, we appreciate the producer.
I would love, I mean, it's one of the reasons we spend 5 or 6 months in Costa Rica. Because my spirit just craves just slowing down and listening to the rain outside the window here and being with the monkeys and just forgetting what day it is. I need that so desperately. And this guy is like Mr. Chill, mellow, cool guy, you know? But it's one of the things I love about him.
It takes you a while to get off that New York hamster wheel to get into this Costa Rica rhythm.
Okay, now.
So she could hear that as judgment.
I hear that as a judgment. Okay.
Well,
but it's a judgment.
It's a very fast, quick pace that she keeps in New York, and here in Costa Rica, you know, it doesn't really work so much. People don't really care.
I understand, but Daniel, listen, yes. I've been on your side here. I'm helping her to slow down. Okay. But when you say the New York hamster wheel, first of all, a hamster wheel implies lots of activity and you're not getting anywhere. So if I were her, I'd be offended when I hear that particular analogy. I prefer just your highly productive, highly effective New York self. I mean, I don't know if that's true for Kate or not, but again, it's a practice group, so we're here to kind of refine a little bit.
It's just, I think a lot of us are kind of consistently tossing out judgments and we don't realize it, and then the other person's getting triggered and we don't understand why they're getting triggered because we don't even mean it to sound judgmental, but our languaging is that a lot of us are speaking judgmentally. And I just think it's just good to bring more consciousness to that, you know, no right or wrong, but a lot of times the judgment can produce a lot more disconnection and then we don't know why. And so it's just really important to kind of bring a lot of awareness there.
Yeah, because I feel criticized a lot and I want to say, you know, okay, maybe I go fast and I manage a lot of things, but look what I've manifested, and you're living in the midst of the beauty and the abundance and the incredibleness of what I've manifested with that energy that you're saying is too much. It's like, well, sorry, but you know, I'm managing 3 households in New York and 2 down here and a 94-year-old father. And California and parts of the business and all. And I'm doing all this at the same time while I'm hanging out and making dinner in Costa Rica. It's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, maybe I'm a hamster, but I'm not a hamster that's not doing anything. And he's benefiting from this. He's living in paradise down here with me, next to the beach. So, it's always this kind of thing about that. It's like, well, why are you complaining about that? You're getting a lot out of it. Why don't you just enjoy it and support me,
So
let me do my thing.
So Daniel, would you be willing to look your beloved in the eye and just give her some authentic appreciation?
Oh, sweet. I appreciate you for all you are and all you've accomplished, and for this magnificent voyage that we've been on since I've known you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is magnificent, isn't it?
It's pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
Yay.
I think that's a really good spot to leave this particular Hollywood Square, this particular couple. We'll be back. We'll be back.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Matthew, I saw you, I think, raise your hand and certainly smiling and nodding your head. I'd love to kind of hear from you for a minute. Anything you want to share or anything?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
First off, I just, I've had some stuff up for me, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute here. But, it's been really good to sit here and listen to, what is it, Laura and David?
Yeah.
And Kate and Daniel, yeah. I'll speak from my own experiences, but I think there's going to be some stuff that will resonate here. I pretty much bill myself as a turtle. I'm really quiet, really slow most of the time. Everything goes extremely deep. I can't take in a ton of information, especially relationally, like just an overload. If there's a lot of information just coming at me in any given moment, I really need to check out sometimes and just let all of that sink in and process. And I'm feeling that may be similar for the men in the relationships here, that it's just, the way that the information is delivered and the method that it's delivered sometimes just doesn't work well for them, and they shut down.
Yeah.
I know that in my relationship in the past, it's been quite some time since I've been out of that relationship. My attachment style, if I'm in my attachment energy, which isn't that often anymore, but when I'm in it, is avoidant. And the partner that I had, she was definitely had an anxious attachment style and was in that energy a lot. And that really looks like often to me as a very aggressive energy, coming at. I need to be heard. Please talk to me. Please listen to me. Please hear me. Acknowledge me. And again, oftentimes it comes in a package of energy that is so rapid and so rapid fire that I would just shut down. And I would definitely go deer in the headlight was definitely one method. And the other would be just to turn and walk away. I just would bail. And it was really because I just couldn't handle that energy. I couldn't handle it in that moment. So, the opportunity for people in a relationship who maybe were in growing up in a lifestyle where they just didn't get heard. And I heard Kate mention that, that type of lifestyle where multiple people, maybe everybody talks over everybody else. Maybe nobody's paying attention and really hearing you. There can be a real deep need to be heard. And in a more anxious or a more aggressive style. And Scott, you mentioned when, being in the masculine energy, that's also something that I think is very common, especially in this day and age, is that women have really had to move into their masculine energy in order to feel like there's even a slight chance for them to be seen, heard, acknowledged, and given some level of equality in our culture. And it's a real shame that is the case. but I feel that so strongly that is the case. And the real sad derivative of that, of what I would consider like the feminine movement, pretty much of the modern feminine movement, is that because women have had to really engender and embody that masculine energy in order to operate in our world and operate in our society and in their jobs and to compete, men have started shutting down and going, what are we here for then? Women got it covered. I mean, they're in the man energy, they're in feminine, but the reality is that actually they're not so much in their feminine energy when they're in that place, And so men are unknowingly rolling into more passive roles, sitting back and not knowing where to go with that, and not really wanting to necessarily try to engage or compete with that. And so the dynamic has really shifted. There's been a real big shift in the dynamic, and it's a pendulum swing. The patriarchy has been so powerful for millenniums that what we're feeling is a shift, in decades in the other direction, in my opinion. And
Matthew, I just want to say I think you're absolutely right on. Yeah. You're spot on. Who can relate to what he's talking about? Yeah. So it's true. And one of the things that we work a lot, especially with couples on, and we have to work it ourselves, is honoring the woman when she's in her masculine, honoring Kate for all that she's accomplishing, honoring Emily for the protocol that she just wrote or the amazing course she just created. And then really asking the woman, what do you need to transition into the divine feminine? Yes. How can I support you to move into the divine feminine? And one of the things we've learned...
That's beautiful, because then you feel like the man has you. He cares. Yeah. He wants to support you to actually get what he wants you to be in, which is in the divine feminine, which the woman's like, oh God. I mean, still the masculine might still be wanting to assert itself because that's what it does. It wants to be in control. So sometimes you need to ask that a few times, or sometimes he'll need to say, can I sit down and touch you, or can we cuddle for a bit? And I'll be like, wait, we got to get this, and this done, and so it's like that part is so strong, so it's helping us to soften that kind of that masculine driven kind of, energy and shift,
What we do, and we now started giving it to our couples, and I think it might be great for Daniel and Kate for sure, and probably for David and Laura, and hopefully for Lisa and Ray, who I'm looking forward to hearing from you all. Glad you're with us. Is we've learned that Emily likes to be held tightly. And so when it's time for transition, either we both decided it's time, or one of us says, it's time to just take a break. We go onto the couch, and we have different positions, but the primary position is I'm holding her with my legs over her legs, and I'm holding her really tight.
And my shoulders are like pinned, and literally like my body, it kind of feels like there's like I would imagine sandbags being on my body. And then my body will just start to discharge energy, so that armoring is coming off.
Literally, I'll feel like shakings from the shoulder, and
that's my masculine protector, my masculine armor.
It's almost like the armor is coming off, literally.
Well, and you're providing that. You're providing that in the moment. You're holding her in a way that's allowing her to feel held by the masculine, and therefore she can release.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it's up to every woman to let the man know, okay, this is tighter, softer, your hand here, whatever. Let each woman direct how she wants to be held. But the bottom line is I get to really go into the strong masculine side of myself, and she gets to relax and be the beautiful divine feminine.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just curious, by raise of hands, how they relate. Is that something that all of you could relate to, having that experience?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good. All right.
And a lot of times too, men with women that have had strong masculines have they feel criticized and emasculated. And so they feel like in a sense that their balls have been ripped off, and judged and kind of punitive and that kind of thing. And so this way the man gets to go, wow, I'm feeling like the man in the relationship. I got you. I'm holding you. I get to protect you. Gets to really feel that authentic masculine, which is, you know, it's like having those kind of roles. If it's like, it's primal when we go into that signature, you know, our authentic kind of feminine masculine.
Yeah. And I would also suggest that is actually extremely powerful place for the women to come from. When women can allow themselves to let that masculine shell drop, yeah, and allow themselves to be held by that man, that there is a gift that's being given to the men in our society, yeah, at this point in time, because of the level of disempowerment often that is felt, again, that feeling of like, well, you know, what am I here for? You know, what's my purpose now? You know, like if roles have shifted, things feel differently now. What do I do? How do I get to be in my masculine energy around you? You know, and I think for me, there's definitely been a strong desire to do that. And I've had the opportunity more recently to shift into that. But in my past relationship, it really was a struggle. It was a huge struggle to do that.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, one of the things that's helped me, because I've had a really strong masculine, you know, I grew up raising my mom. My mom has a methamphetamine addiction. She still struggles. And so I basically raised my mom. People ask me if I want kids. I said, I already raised one. And so I definitely, my currency was the rescuer of the family. I basically have lived essentially by that masculine role all my life. And so a lot of times when I think I'm being powerful or I'm being in that place of, I know what's going on, I'm actually triggered. And what's really going on is I'm scared. And so if I'm able to just shift into actually what's really going on, which is I'm really scared right now, it helps me move more into that feminine place, which then ultimately gets my needs more met. And so I've really noticed how powerful just going to the root underneath everything. And often I wasn't even able to acknowledge the fear because I was so in this place of I thought I was empowered, but I'm not really empowered. I'm scared. Right. And I'm puffing up. And I'm really like, I'm going to puff up because I need to get my needs met. And I know what you're feeling because you're triggered right now. And I'm really triggered and I'm projecting onto you. And so I'm in this place of I'm really scared. And a lot of times I still go into denial of owning it. And it's been a real shift of really going, whoa, what's underneath all of this armor is I'm really terrified.
Yeah, that resonates. I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'd love to hear from Greg or Sharon or Alyssa and Ray, although I guess, Alyssa's still there. And we'll come back to all of you. You know, have a little time. I want to kind of hear from everybody a little bit. Ray and Alyssa, first of all, it's great to see you. I've missed you all. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for letting us join you.
Yeah.
I can relate to the two couples that just talked and the gentleman. Alyssa's from New York, and I'm from California, and we're right smack dab in the middle of the country in Austin, Texas. So for me, I'll just speak for myself. When Alyssa's unhappy, the primal fear of failure to make her happy comes up for me, and that causes me to react. I trigger her and she reacts, and because I'm reacting, I know that one of her primal fears is the fear of being disconnected, right? And then fear of not being protected, because once you're disconnected from the tribe, you don't have the protection. Right. So that I know that dynamic is working, and so when I see that she's unhappy, I tell myself, okay, that fear is coming up. Well, I've done everything I can to provide. You know, I create all the abundance that I can and protect the family. So what I'm feeling is not real. What else is going on? So then I can hear her instead of trying to defend my position.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Thank you, Ray.
What a beautiful technique. Thank you for sharing that.
Did I say that slow enough?
I'd love for you to repeat it, actually, that one piece, the piece at the end of what you actually tell yourself that helps you. Can you say that piece again?
Yeah, well, I recognized my primal fear. Men's fear is fear of failure.
Right.
Failure to provide, failure to protect. And that failure will actually disempower a man. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I'm screwing up. She's unhappy. I did something wrong. And then I react.
Yeah.
You know, you're so right on. We just worked with a couple on Monday night that have exactly that. He's an anesthesiologist and he works hard and makes a lot of money. He's a good guy. And he's so afraid that he's not going to get intimacy right with her. And he's so afraid of failure of properly being intimate, and not just sexually intimate, but also emotionally intimate. And so he's afraid of failure. So he's got to the point where he doesn't try. And then he interprets it as he doesn't care, he doesn't love me, he's not into me anymore. But it's really, he's just so afraid of failure. You know?
Yeah. And then the women will feel that their fear of disconnection, right? Which is injury because you're disconnected from the tribe.
Right.
So when I hear that story in my head, I dissolve it because it's an illusion. I say that, hey, I've done everything I can to provide, to protect. This is not me. There's something else going on. Then I ask Alyssa, what's going on? Her ongoing reality is completely different from what I'm holding in my head.
I really want to say thank you so much to what I heard is that primal fear of disconnection is ultimately disconnected from the tribe. I was like, whoa, like, thank you, brother. I was like really feeling that. I mean, that just takes it up to a whole nother deeper level.
Yeah, because when we were disconnected from the tribe, we died. You know, our survival, our physical survival was at stake. And it is important to remember that we, the human species, lived in tribal culture for so long, and the current culture we live in is extremely new and not anything close to the way we lived for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And so our brains are trained in ways like that. So that's a really beautiful distinction, right? Alyssa, I'd love to hear from you. How do you respond to that? Or is there something else you'd like to bring up?
Well, I guess there's a similar desire. I mean, I think women also, for myself, I feel a sense of failure if I'm not succeeding at being a nurturer for him. Like, I have a desire to know that there's peace in the home and we're communicating well and that his, you know, that his sense of well-being is intact. And so when I see him being unhappy and stressed, you know, it affects me. And, you know, it feels like, okay, well, and sometimes, I don't know if I'm hearing it wrong or not, but it feels like there's, you know, I have some kind of responsibility there. And I mean, I relate to a lot of the things that everybody has said too in our communications. I mean, we're kind of flipped. Like I'm a New Yorker, but I'm actually very.
She's quiet.
I'm very withdrawn, and tend to be more the sponge, and he's very outgoing and outspoken, and his volume goes up, and it triggers me because then I feel like I don't feel safe. And then I don't feel engaged, you know, like I'm having a challenging time kind of like having him understand that I'm with him, and I understand that he's feeling triggered, but, you know, to lower the volume so that I can actually, you know, engage and we can communicate. That's been a challenge for us, I think.
Yeah.
Can I reflect back what she just said?
Please. Thank you, Ray.
So I think what you're saying is when I get loud and get triggered, you feel disconnected from me, and that doesn't feel safe.
Right.
She wants to stay connected, because connection, like I notice that women want to stay connected because that's their source, their resource to connect with other people. That's her safety. But if she feels begins to feel disconnected from me because I'm raising my voice, it no longer feels safe to her.
Right.
So it's important for me to say, hey, stop your reaction. It's just an illusion. Something else going on.
Plus, it's also a need for me to protect our child because
Right.
we have a child in the house. We're in a really small house. We're a tiny family. And so when that volume goes up, and I'm like, let's take, I want to hear what you have to say. Let's take this in the other room. But the volume goes out the door. So I'm, trying to kind of keep I don't mind like sharing our resolutions with our child as long as he's not seeing that there's this
open-ended conflict.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really appreciating the vulnerability of what everyone's sharing. I also want to welcome Paul Sterling, brilliant coach and friend. And I saw somebody named Manju who's with us. So greetings, whoever you are. You brought up, I know that I think your son's name is Nico, if I recall correctly. And
Yes.
I know that you love him very much. Both of you do. And it can be a challenge when the mother is feeling protective of the child and the father feels like there could be a couple of challenges. There could be the perception of you are overly protecting the child. You are caring more about the child than about what I need right now.
You're nurturing, your nurturer gets more filled by nurturing the child, and then your needs get met, and then the man feels less of his nurturing needs or needs for sexual connection are being met.
Those are, I don't know if any of those are issues for you, but since you brought up, and I do recall how much you love your son. I think if I recall, he's 10 or 11 now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, that's a challenge. It's hard to find that balance. And, let's face it, if we perceive that our partner is favoring our child over us or is giving the child a form of attention in the middle that we're already in a difference that's different than we think, again, there's no right or wrong. There's not a right or wrong, but it's a very, you can have very different perspectives about what's appropriate. So I just want to acknowledge how challenging that is.
Yeah, it is because, it's not so much that, I'm failing to get attention because she's giving attention to Nico. What it is for me is I'm actually failing as a man to protect because her male energy has to step in to protect our child because I'm failing at that. Because I've already gave into the reaction of failing to provide and succeed because she's unhappy. Now reacting to that, and now because I'm reacting and raising my voice, she's got to step into her male form and protect our child for me.
Wow.
Equally disempowering.
I'm so
thank you for your
appreciating
self-reflection and
beautiful.
awareness. And I did want to acknowledge there appears to be kind of a divine mirroring about both of you guys have that fear of failure. Yours is on the side of the masculine, provide and protect. And for her, it's when she has a fear when you get unhappy that she's not meeting your needs for nurturing or maybe care or in a certain way. So I would just say that you guys just really give each other a lot of appreciation and definitely a lot of reassurance around those areas, and check in. Are your needs being met for nurturing? Is there any way that I can care for you in ways that, that I might not know, checking in with our partner. And how do you feel? That you feel like I'm providing for you? How can I provide for you? And just have those kinds of dialogues.
One of the things that we talked about a moment ago is that we want to really make sure we go over how important reassurance and appreciation is. And so both of you actually let us know what you're actually needing more reassurance for. So for example, Ray, really wants appreciation and reassurance that he is providing safety. And when he doesn't perceive that he's providing at the level that his woman wants, or that his woman's not happy, or that she's having to, she doesn't feel safe, that really gets to him. So as much as you can appreciate when he is doing it right, when he is providing safety, when he is providing abundance, when he is treating you or treating Nico the way that you like, please give him lots of appreciation, because when we receive that appreciation, it's the best way to anchor in more of the same. If you want him to be that way, give them lots of appreciation for it. I'm not saying you don't, by the way. I'm using this as kind of a example, but a teaching point for everyone. Because when we're given appreciation, our little receptor cells get really, really happy. And we open, and it's like, oh, that works. She likes that. I'll do it again. I'll do more, you know. But conversely, like you said, if we start perceiving criticism or judgment, we start going into the, you know, again, we start going into the reptile brain of, I'm not getting it right, my woman's not happy. We start to contract. And when we contract, we're less available to be our true self and less available to be the way everybody really wants us to be the hero. You know, Paul Sterling is brilliant about things like that. And I noticed him nodding his head. And I want to hear from Greg and Sharon tonight too. But Paul, I just have a feeling you might have something to say about that.
Actually, no, I was just admiring the self-reflection, and I got in late because I was in a healing session myself. So I just admired the self-reflection of wanting to be each other's heroes and the dance of the masculine and the feminine, and how artfully you guys are navigating it, and they're navigating it.
Well, I'm glad. I was excited when I saw you join us, Paul.
You look so relaxed.
Yeah, you look like you're in Hawaii.
I'm in Kauai and looking. I actually, my roommate is a magnificent, and so she just did a session on me, and I bounced in here all like melted and happy, and so.
Well, thank you. Welcome. We'll come back to you, Paul. I'd love to hear from Greg in a moment. And I also want to acknowledge one of the things I love about doing these is that we've got people from Costa Rica, Santa Monica, Santa Cruz, San Diego, Austin, Texas. I'm not sure where Shakti or Manju are from. So it's pretty cool to have people from so many different places. Greg, thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm in Oregon right now.
You're in Oregon.
Yeah, northeastern Oregon.
Wow, and Shakti's from New Hampshire, she just said. So,
what's alive for you, Greg?
I really appreciate one of the things that, or a lot of things that you covered tonight, especially around the masculine and the feminine roles and the dynamics between that. I also love what you shared about in dynamic situations, sharing just one thought in 60 seconds, because I'm currently relating with a woman, and she's expressing a lot with me, and she tends to speak for extended periods of time, and I don't have a need for her to stop, although I think it would be beneficial for us to dialogue a little bit more back and forth. And so I'm actually going to use the tool to actually share the tool with her and propose for her to possibly implement it.
Let her know that you'll actually be able to take in much more that way.
And that's what I was experiencing in the beginning, just that I would get lost, and sometimes I wouldn't be able to track everything. And she is going through a circular pattern anyways. So that I agree with what you just said,
Beautiful.
So what's also, one of the things that I'm really excited about was what Emily shared last week, and she brought it up earlier tonight, was just about the self-sourcing. And I love what you shared, that you two are in a dynamic where, Emily, your focus is really about self-sourcing, and Scott's focus is really about expressing his needs and that exchange. And I'd love to hear and learn more. My focus is currently about self-sourcing because it's been my focus to really, complete my autonomy, and that's a big part of it for me. And but I'm also trying to find that balance between understanding that life, as human beings, we have the need to be with people, and so where that I guess that overlap occurs. If you can speak about that, so.
Great.
Beautiful. Well, the first thing I think about is there's a wonderful 2-hour webinar that I did on self-sourcing that I don't know if you've watched. Is it in the membership site?
Yeah.
Is
I think so.
I think it's in the...
Let's look and check.
Can you put your email in the chat box? And if it's not there, then I'll send you it. Because it's a really good it's a good place to begin with some of the techniques that I teach, and just kind of more of a deeper dive into the self-inquiry. And it's a great webinar. That's what I would recommend. It's the first thing.
Guys, and in terms of the dynamic back and forth, I love the Einstein quote. It's something along the lines of, true measure of intelligence is how quickly we can change our beliefs. And, when we are always trying to reinforce that our way of doing things is the right way, we get old and we get crusty. And one of the things that we always want to do is just stay curious. And so when someone comes into your world and they're radically different, but you're really attracted to them and they're attracted to you, it's nature's way of saying, hey, this person's got medicine for you and you've got medicine for them. Yeah. And so let's receive each other's medicine. And I want to say, Emily and I have been really good about that. Yeah. We love each other's medicine, even when it's really, really different. Yeah. I can't recall ever arguing my way's better than your way kind of a thing.
No, but we also have a tremendous value for ease and harmony and just like working stuff out really quick.
All right.
But I think that's one of the things that really helps us is that no matter if there's a difference, we always or usually go into the place of, how can I value the gift of what this person is bringing to me? Mm-hmm. How is this person's perspective actually here to help me to become more integrated, more balanced, and have medicine or an awareness or understanding of that could help me to be the best person that I can be. And so that's where I think that people, if they can start to see differences, that they're here to help you to become more integrated, I think that's just such profound, powerful medicine,
if I may, I'd love to, let's just look at some of our couples here, now this is my projection. It may or not be accurate, but in 3 minutes or 5 minutes, looking at Daniel and Kate, we saw that Daniel provides the medicine of Costa Rica, calming down, tranquility, slowing down, mellowing out. Kate provides the medicine of the abundance, the material success, making things happen. And so they both provide each other with beautiful medicine. And I'm not limiting either of you to just those things, but that's what I heard, right? Laura and David, we have started coaching them, and it's so beautiful to see the medicine that each of you provide to each other. Mm-hmm. So there's an interesting thing. They've just recently proven that sexual chemistry is real. That when two people that are of baby-making time, she's fertile, he's, virile, if it's a good genetic match, their pheromones talk to each other. And so, it's really real, right? And especially if you're in your 20s and 30s, right? So that's science. That's been proven. But I'm going to tell all of you something better than science. It's Scott philosophy. It's a Scott belief system. Better than science.
I love how you just own that. So
I own it. I believe, and I really do believe this, that when we get older and we're past baby-making age, or we're kind of, done with the baby-making age, which I think is probably true for everyone here, our higher self, when our higher self goes, oh, this person has the perfect medicine for me to learn the lessons I still need to learn, heal, or learn how to honor and manage my childhood wounding or my wounding that is still alive in me and is unresolved. This person's going to be the perfect person to trigger it. And I'm the perfect person to trigger their stuff and provide them the medicine they need. Same thing. There's a mutual attraction. And it's not the pheromone saying, let's make a baby because we're a good genetic match, but it's similar. It's my higher self and her higher self, or your two higher selves going, mutual attraction, because this person's got the medicine you need and you've got the medicine they need. So I'm just curious if anybody can relate to that, how that lands for people. Mm-hmm. See? Better than science. And thank you for the reassurance and the validation.
Well, it's not that it's better. It's actually kind of like to the period of the scientific, perspective, but then you kind of take it into
the next stage.
The next stage.
Yeah, the next stage. Yeah. I should come up with something better than
science. Yeah, because then it's also
it's comparative and it's judgment. Right. Okay. See, good medicine.
But then I was kind of pointing out that he was kind of like,
no, that's good.
I didn't ask you permission.
No, that's right. Oh, you did.
That could have escalated. We're kind of geeky about this stuff, if you haven't noticed.
We are. We haven't heard from Sharon Hinckley or Shakti or Manju. Thank you, Paul.
How about Sharon?
Sharon? Okay, I'm going to unmute
And thank
Sharon.
you so much for taking all the notes that you have.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, well, I was at once, probably more than once, told I have a paper brain. I understand things if I write them down somehow. So I'm happy if that's benefiting other people as well. Am I?
What's alive for you?
What's alive for you? Anything you want to share or talk about? Or have us talk?
I really enjoy the group tonight. I think everybody is making such valid and interesting points. I guess for me, what was I going to... Typically, Christmas has always been my most challenging time of year. I'm good with Easter, 4th of July, but Christmas has been a challenge. But I am planning to take a walk on the beach, which I'm looking forward to. And as far as this evening's conversation is concerned, I'm really appreciating the subtle distinctions and the nuances. And then I was also feeling like, my God, I've been doing this for so long and I've barely scratched the surface. And I thought, I remember Katrina saying that it took her 6 years before she even got anything. And I thought, okay, well, if it took Katrina 6 years, then it's okay that it's taking me a little while.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting is we were just talking to, when I said we were talking to Paul today, he's a relationship coach, and we were talking, and literally I was just saying to Paul, is like, I feel like such a babe. And he said, well, of course you're a babe. I'm like, no, I'm a babe. Like, this is all stuff that's just new. It's like, I feel like a babe in relationship. Like, and I'm wondering if it's kind of like that, it's like, maybe we continue to have that childlike place of, I don't know. And yet I'm still here learning and growing, and it's okay to not know and to be kind of innocent and stumbling and falling and, Oh, I think Sharon. So go ahead, Sharon.
Oh, I guess and of course, what's happened is what's happened, but there's the part of me that goes, oh my God, I wish I'd known this stuff earlier, and I can go forward. In fact, I was really proud of myself before the election. I actually had a lengthy Facebook conversation with a Trumpy, and we were friendly. I considered that growth. But some of the people that I look at the way I handled some of the situations in my life, and I realize beating myself up isn't going to change it, but I go, oh my God, that was really nasty.
Yeah, well, and so I just really appreciate your vulnerability. We're going to go to Paul in a moment. Thank you for your vulnerability, Sharon. And really, we all are still learning.
Mm-hmm.
There's a wonderful, I don't know, I'm a big movie guy, and Japan's greatest filmmaker is generally regarded to be a man named Akira Kurosawa. And about maybe 15 years ago, he was 80 years old, and the Academy Awards gave him an honorary award for his lifetime achievement in filmmaking. And there's Steven Spielberg handing him the award, talking about how Kurosawa has been his, idol. And literally this man at age 80, as he's receiving a lifetime achievement award, very humbly says, "Thank you, I appreciate this very much. But I have to say sincerely, although I've been making movies for 50 years, I really believe that I'm just beginning to learn how to really do it right." And I always like to remember that. You can't get a more pinnacle moment of a man's career probably. And
So
really
humble.
So humble. It's like, I've been doing this for 50 years and I'm just really beginning to get the hang of it. And so it's like that, so let's all just channel our little Akira Kurosawa.
I like that. Can I get us all?
Whoa! Paul Sterling, I saw you raise your hand.
Hey there, Scott. I think the big challenge that was reflected there is, how do we learn something new and then look back at our past and not judge ourselves based on our new knowledge that we didn't have then? What we did then is we made the best decision with the information we had yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're doing is judging it based on information we have today. So it's
stated. Yeah.
What I have to do is be compassionate with myself, because there's a tendency to use the new information and then it makes it no fun to learn something new. So it's a challenge to have that loving compassion. And I see that my internet connection here is somewhat unstable, so I hope I'm still coming through.
We got about 80% of it. There was some garbling, but I think we got the general thing. And I'll say what I heard was, looking back, having empathy for ourselves, I did the best that I could, knowing what I know now, knew then, and I'm grateful for what I know now. That's a beautiful perspective. I'm wanting to include everybody, and Shakti actually wrote something really cool. Shakti, I'm going to unmute you if you want to share anything. But I noticed in the chat box, she wrote a beautiful thing about her perspective, about a man holding his woman and what the man wants and to be the hero and what the feminine wants. And it's really, really beautiful what you wrote, Shakti.
I just put it in now. I thought I had said to everybody, but that's what I find in working with a man, and being with a man, is that he wants to hold his woman. He wants to be the man, the masculine, the protector, the hero. And when he does, and the woman surrenders to her man, trusting him, the feminine in the woman, she can then feel safe. She can surrender to her man in the ways the man so loves. And she can express herself fully in the feminine energy and appreciate her man, her Shiva. And when she will desire to love her man in all the ways the man wants to be loved. And she goes for it. And the man loves that. And he can then be totally in his masculine.
Right on.
Yay.
Perfectly stated, Charlene. Beautifully stated.
Let's go make love.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the plan after this class. Charlene, by the way, is from Maine. So we've got the far upper northeast coast represented in Charlene.
The whole country covered.
Is there anything you want to share?
Hawaii.
Anything you want us to talk about, Charlene? Anything you'd like support for?
For me, it's pretty alone time. The holidays are. And I guess I'm kind of, that it is what it is. And it's interesting. All the people talk about the problems they have with their relatives and, meeting the people, in the holidays. And I have the total opposite problem. But I have my kitties, but still.
Yeah. So I really want to acknowledge, because I know you a little bit, how challenging it is in general to be living by yourself, to not have a partner, to not be living with anyone other than your wonderful kitties, and to not have family or a beloved to spend the holidays with. And I really want to acknowledge the depth of loneliness and the sadness that I feel when I really imagine that for you, Charlotte.
It's hard to share that too. Yeah, because who wants to hear about all that? It's sad, but it's okay.
It opens our hearts. Whose heart feels opened by hearing that?
You guys, thank you. I don't have a camera. I'm so sorry I don't have one, but
Well,
my heart goes out to all of you.
Well, I want to say that I literally saw, I think everybody raised their hands. So even though you don't have a camera, I just wanted to relay that information to you.
Oh, I can feel it. I can feel everybody's hand. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you're here. Like, I really appreciate how you've been showing up. And Charlene's also an editor, so it's really nice to have her on board. And we're going to have her start editing some stuff. We want to get that dragon speak, and start speaking in, because we keep saying we want to write a book, but I think our method is if we just talk to it, then she can then translate it into writing and or whatever and edit it.
So excited about working with you, Charlene. Really excited. Thank you. Well, I think everybody's had a chance to share something, so I'll just bring it back up. Has anybody got kind of an issue or a challenge you'd like to have us talk about? But just pick something that would be relevant to most of us, if possible. So anybody got anything you'd like for us to talk about? Laura, hang on. Okay, you're unmuted, dear.
You just, you began the call before Dave and I brought our adorable drama in, which I feel great about being able to feel safe with you guys to just be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And I really just want to appreciate that I've grown just from the sessions that I've had, even on these sessions, by not saying one thing about what David did, really just saying to you guys that I was shameful, that I felt bad that I yelled at him, and that I want to be able to self-source, and that's growth for me. Like, to not go, oh, David did this, David did that, and and I'm not saying that my mind doesn't think that in the moment, but I really can see my mind now, because of your guys' help, as like this child that's just needing something that has nothing to do with David. And I think that is so important. But anyway, so that was the appreciation, but I just wanted to call out that, Christmas is here and Hanukkah, and you started out with that, Scott, and I just wanted to see if maybe there was anything else that you wanted to add about the holidays.
Yes. So, Sharon talked about how Christmas is not her favorite holiday, and I saw Paul say that. So I'll start with one thing. I always encourage people to remember the true meaning of Christmas. It's not about presents. It's not about Santa Claus. It's not even about Jesus, because he was born in March. Really? No, he was. Or April. It was sometime in the spring. The true meaning of Christmas is that it's my birthday.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know what's going there?
It is actually. It's on the 25th.
Yeah, my birthday really is on Sunday.
We all know.
She was just setting you up, Scott. She was just setting you up.
I
appreciate that.
Oh, were you really?
I was, because if you know Scott, you know his birthday's on Christmas.
I'm making a bigger deal about it this year than I think I have in a long time.
I think I've heard you say it like 4 or 5 times. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. I like to say things like, there's only 3 more shopping days until Scott's birthday.
Well, in one of our coaching sessions, you had mentioned that.
Okay. I got it.
But no, what I would like to say is this is such a safe forum.
Thank you.
Everybody's been wonderful. And, I'm not one to really, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm getting used to this whole feelings thing. And, but I have to say, the group of people that you have surrounding you, Scott and Emily, has made it so safe for me to feel not only welcomed, but just to share and be vulnerable and to really take in the growth opportunity. You know, Laura and I, just in the short time that we've known you, I mean, we tell everybody about you. I just had a friend tell me today that he was talking to his wife and his brother, people I know very well, but I haven't seen them in a long time because I've done a geographical. And he was just explaining to them the difference that he sees in me through not only, you know, the programs the growth that I've done just from being around Laura. And then, of course, this is just taking me to a completely other dimension. So I have you to thank for that. And this forum of people has just been nothing short of wonderful.
Yeah, we love all you guys. You guys are all amazing. And thank you so much for being so vulnerable with us.
Thank you. Well, that's kind of I do want to
beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think for Kate and Daniel and Greg and Felissa and Ray, just want to kind of let you all know that we are going to be starting our next online course in January. Matthew, Laura, David, Sharon, Shakti, also known as Charlene, are all going to be participating in it. And it's a pretty cool course. It's called Relationship Essentials. It's an 8-week course that this will be the third time that Emily and I have taught it together. And we put a lot into it. It's a live class every Sunday at 4 o'clock Pacific time. And there's usually about 25 people. And it's live like this for 2 hours, but we give a very specific set of practices. And then people break out into breakout groups and they practice, usually dyads. Usually if there's couples, we'll have the couples working with themselves or with a coach. And then we give soul work assignments. And then there's videos you can watch. There's webinars you can watch. It's a very elaborate program.
And then the private Facebook group is where people post their soul work, and then they get lots of empathy and tons
feedback.
Of breakthroughs if they want it.
Yeah, if they want it.
But a lot of people, you know, I've never exposed this part of myself and like big healings, and to be that vulnerable and not be, you know, outed or shamed or, just huge openings and healings. So, and I want to say that this is great. I love these practice groups, but this is like going really deep together in an 8-week course. And we go into some really, really juicy, yummy material, and it brings up a lot of good stuff. So.
Yeah, and there's a package available if you want private coaching, where basically we charge a third of what we normally would charge for private coaching for the people that are part of the Relationship Essentials course. Let me talk a little bit more about it. I'll put into the chat box where you can get more information about it. And do you want to offer that special?
Yeah, we're actually just going to offer a Christmas special right now until the beginning of the year. And what's the special? We talked about it.
If you come in as a couple, the second person is 50% off, basically.
Yeah.
So it's if you buy the premium package, that would be a savings of almost $600.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
Say to the group that one of our two best friends who just are so great, but they need this help so bad, have just signed up with Scott and Emily, Karen and Michael, and we are so excited. They couldn't come on tonight because they were sick, but they're going to do the Relationship Essentials too. And we're just so excited to have people that we love and know right in our neighborhood doing it as well.
Yeah, it's a really great course, and would love to have Ray and Alyssa do it, and Kate and Daniel do it, and Greg. Would love to have all of you come join us. It's a beautiful course. It's powerful. And you know, one thing that's cool is the one that we just finished doing maybe a month ago. We had PhD psychologists, therapists, and they were like, "Oh my God, we got more out of this course than we did out of like years of PhD school." So
it always shocks my mind. I'm like with a psychologist now, and she's like, this is rocking my world. I'm like, what did they teach you in school? Ah. Anyway, what is the piece that I wanted to say too?
When you join the Relationship Essentials course, you get a 1-year membership to the Love Coach Academy, which gets you 40 videos, a dozen webinars, 15 audio podcasts, and the weekly live practice groups.
Well,
and then we'll
if
start
they're in
taking
here, though, they have the membership.
They have different memberships for different amounts of time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
the one thing I wanted to say is because we know that a lot of people are strapped financially or there's a lot to take care of, we do have payment plans.
That's right. And we take credit cards also.
So our payment plans are like $150 down and then $150. Usually it's been a variation of $150 or $200 a month until it's paid off. So we do have a lot of opportunities to help when, finances are an issue.
So if you have any questions about it, I'll put into the chat box how to either email us or call us. I'm going to give you my personal email address, which I don't give out that often.
And the website is above there, relationshipessentials.org, and you can basically go there and check out all the modules, like each week, kind of what you're going to learn.
Yeah.
And
so
cool.
I'm glad we remember to do that. Yeah. Any closing thoughts?
I know
unmute.
It's 9:04. So.
Any last thoughts, questions before we say goodbye? Anybody got anything?
Daniel,
hang on. Let me unmute you. Hold on. Here we go.
Celebrating your birthday on Sunday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's a very safe forum. I really enjoyed all of you.
It's great to have you two join us. Really.
Come back next Wednesday.
Please come back next week. Yeah.
We feel really blessed to be here. And Scott, you and I have known each other, what?
A long time.
It's a long
time. I was trying to remember how we first met. Do you remember?
I think maybe Maui years ago. I can't even remember, but it's wonderful to kind of come back full circle and have the opportunity to be with you and to meet some new people. And in this time when there's a lot of negativity and strife and pain, it gives me hope and inspiration to be in connection and in community with conscious other people like yourselves who are really working to bring more love and peace and connection to the world. So thank you very much. That's my gift for this holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate. Yeah. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you for your amazing contributions.
Yeah, I really appreciated what you shared, Matthew.
Yeah.
Is Paul still with us? Paul, wherever you are, if you can hear us, you know how much I love you, brother. Looking forward to talking to you Friday. David and Laura, thank you for just being so amazingly supportive and embracing these tools and working with them and introducing us to so many of your friends.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
Yeah.
I also wanted to wish everybody a really beautiful, happy solstice. This is a really a special time. And the theme that keeps coming up is nurturance. So how can we nurture ourselves and how can we ask for nurturing? So just would love us to leave with that. So may you all get your need met for nurturing.
Yeah. And I wanted to also say, it's really good to see you again, Alyssa and Ray. I was excited when I saw you guys come on. So please start joining us on Wednesday nights. And Greg and Matthew and David and Laura have been coming the last 3 weeks and it'll grow. So we just started doing this again 2 weeks ago. So it'll grow and be a good growing group.
Good night,
Happy
everybody.
holidays.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Love you all.
Mm-hmm.